Shalom, Shalom, Yeshaya from GMS Savannah. Come with another lesson. But first and foremost, I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekak Radash, and double honors to the apostles and elders, the elder bishop, the great millstone, which rule well and teach well, and to the Akim as well as the Phillies, pushing this 100% truth out of the Bible in sincerity by risking their life and freedom to do so. And salutation to the hopeful elect of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you speckled birds scattered amongst the heathens that have the appearance of the heathens, but your father's seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also referred to as Israelite foreigners. But today's lesson I'm going into is, this one on Deion Sanders, and what he has going on, and he's still having issues after, his clocks and stuff. But here on the article it says Deion says, he's hurting like crazy and says he thinks he has more blood clots. And it says right here, Colorado coach Deion Sanders revealed after Saturday loss to TCU that he thinks he has more blood clots in his legs after already undergoing numerous surgeries because of clot circulation in his lower body. And it says Sanders admitted he was in pain this week in addition to his recovery from bladder cancer this year. He brought it up after being asked about Saturday night when he was seen sitting down during the game and wearing only one shoe. And he said, "I think I got more blood clots," Sanders said after the game in Fort Worth, Texas. "Cat's out of the bag, all right. I think I got more blood clots. It don't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy." He said he has a doctor appointment on Monday to find out more. So that's what's going on, Sanders said. "I am not getting blood to my legs. That's why my leg is throbbing. Sorry to get that out, but thank you for noticing." Sanders' blood circulation issues previously led the amputation of 2 of his toes and removal of parts of his left calf. That was when he was in the hospital for 23 days during 2001 season as head coach of Jackson State. He had more surgeries to remove clots in his legs before his first season in Colorado in 2023. Then in May, he had his bladder removed because of cancerous tumor. He said early in the week that he can't make it through a game without urinating and uses Depends adult diapers to help him manage it. Yeah, that's horrible, man. You got to wear Depends because you can't contain your bladder, man. That's demoralizing. He didn't use his health situation as an excuse Saturday, but it raises question about his status after a 2-4 start for his team in the third season as head coach. He previously said other members of his family have struggled with blood clots too. Wow, that's awful. So you know what that was about, you know what I'm saying? Participating in the Squid Games, man. You know? And like I say, we go back, back to 2020, when the Squid Games were going on, Deion anticipated with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And now these blood clots are rearing their ugly head, man, with these people that have anticipated, man, back in 2020. And it's scary. Because, we in 2025 and going into 2026, man, and so, things are getting more and more crazier as time goes on, man, the people who anticipated. And so, who knows, how this is going to play out. But, that, him anticipating, have really uh, boosted that, that, cancerous cell in his prostate, man. It definitely, probably was an issue of that. And, that's a very scary situation. And so all we can do is just sit back now and just watch and look and see how this all plays out. But like we always tell everybody, man, it's a fearful thing, when you fall in the hands of the living power of Yahweh. It's scary, man, because people be calling on these false idols and all this, man. And hey, man, you have to repent from that, man. And start, following Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's our strong tower. And like I say, man, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power, man, Yahweh. It's a scary thing, man. Because like I say, we know that, he's been pushing that JC a lot, man. And, and we sure haven't heard him say anything about JC lately, So, like I say, man, I'm pretty sure that he has seen Great Millstone on these platforms, man, and knowing what the real name is and everything. But hey, man, like I say, man, the Lord, he's a terror, man. He's a real terror, man. You know what I'm saying? The true terror of this world, man, and his son. It's a fearful thing. Like I tell you, to fall in the hands of the living power, Yahweh. I'm gonna go right here. Let me see. First of all, I'm gonna start right here. Sirach 12:10. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rust, so is his wickedness. And though he humble himself and go crouching, and yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou have wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. And yeah, man, you dealing with the science and all this, man. You can't trust all that. You know why we can't trust by what they say? Because of this right here. Like I say, it says, never trust our enemies. And then right here you go to, no, that's not it, Salakia. Isaiah 31:1. It say, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on the horses to trust in the chariots, because there are many, and in the horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And like I say, man, you have to seek Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You have to, man, to have that hedge of covering over you, man, to protect you. And like I say, Great Millstone is 100%, man. These other camps didn't warn our people about 2020. The churches didn't warn our people about 2020. Everybody was all about making money. And they say, hey, do what you got to do. You just keep the money coming in. You want to do this and do that and do that, do this and do that. You got to go ahead and get yourself, you know what I'm saying, participating in the Squid Game. That's what's happening, man. So that's what's causing a lot of problems with a lot of people here in Babylon and around the world. You know what I'm saying? Because you anticipated in 2020, that fear tactic. And people, they want to trust in the science. So, you have to deal with what you did, and the consequences. And right here, Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it's polluted, and it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Yeah, this ain't our resting place, Jakes. You Israelites got to understand, this is not our resting place, man. These devils, they don't mind, with their people, but y'all are the problem. Y'all the issues, man. They still pissed off of the birthright. So that's why you never can trust these devils, man. Sleazy, man, and all these people, man, and what's going on, and we see and we understand a lot of these topics through the spirit. We understand what's going on, and it's evident what's going on. Look at all the stuff that's on these social media platforms. That when they talking about 2020 and what it's caused, and we going into 2026, and that it's rearing its ugly head. You know what I'm saying? It's rearing its ugly head. So, we just have to warn our people, man. Never trust our enemies, because sooner or later, whenever you make a rational decision, man, you can pay for it sooner or later, as they always say. Sooner or later. That's why you supposed to seek Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, not JC. That's a false god, false idol. It's made up. The Israelites' strong tower is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's who only called on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the Israelites, and that's it. Nobody else. You heathens, you can't even have it come out of your mouth. But our people call on JC, and everybody, they call on it in the movies, man. That's a bunch of BS. So hey, if you don't have that hedge protection, this what can happen to you. You fall victim of sleazy science, and this is what's going on here in Babylon, man. A lot of our people, are subject to it, man, and a lot of problems that happen to this day. But I just want to blow the trumpet, warn our people, never trust our enemies. Never trust your enemies. Go to Psalms 83 and read it, and that'll show you who our enemies are. Hope this will edify to the whole for sheep and lamb, Kwan Yasharala, the Wadi Habashim Yahweh Shai. On to the next lesson. Shalom.